to the mountains is through the north gate!
Hello everyone, this is TailsFan 109 and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. So, let's see. In the last video I did all the Goron stuff before getting to Snowhead Temple. We saw what the Gorons were suffering through with their starvation, and the baby without his father, which was the elder. Seems like a bit of a big age difference here.
If you want to pass her, you have to say the sacred code!
And I screwed it up a few times. Yeah, this is post-commentary because my microphone decided to be an idiot. For some reason, it thought it would be fun to just record all the music and laze around. Well, now it has to be punished by doing all this work of post-commentation. I hope you are satisfied, Mike. I know I'm not. So now I have to ramble all the way through roughly an hour's worth of video. And it's boring. It's really boring because I can't hear a darn thing when I do this. The game audio doesn't play in post-commentation, so I'm in complete silence and I'm just rambling like an idiot. Anyways, before I head off to Snowhead Temple, I do something that I always like to do when I play the Song of Time. I like to go and fill up my wallet with 200 rupees as soon as possible. One of which is over here. You need to destroy the wall with an explosive, but thankfully the blast mask does just that, which is a good thing because when you play the Song of Time in this game, you lose any ammunition and money that you have been currently holding until that point. Thankfully, the blast mask allows me to actually blow up stuff without need of a bomb. Though I go to buy some bombs and arrows anyway for the dungeon. There's nothing worse than suddenly going through the dungeon, realizing you need a bomb or an arrow or something, but you haven't gotten any yet. That is always a pain. So that's another reason to get the money, but usually I don't spend it, I just put it all in the bank right away. Because there's still rewards to get at 1,000 and 5,000 rupees. The 1,000 rupee one isn't the best, but the 5,000 rupee one is, especially if you're going for completion, like I pretty much am. At the very least, there's no stupid minigames to do right now. I was hoping to fall through the stairs there. If you jump at the proper angle, you can suddenly start the transition before landing on the stairs, therefore making you just drop through the stairs. It's fun to do. I like doing it. So the stuff I end up buying ends up costing me 100 rupees. I was darn surprised at that. I usually don't buy stuff before going to the dungeons because I usually forget. Every time. And then I get mad when I realize I did forget, but I won't leave the dungeon because I just entered it. I don't want to leave once I start. That's me. Oh well. At least this happened during the dungeon, where I usually just talk about how the dungeon works, gimmicks, how to get through the rooms and such. Unfortunately, I still have to get to the dungeon first. So for the next 3 minutes or so, I don't know, I'm just going to have to deal with this. I really want to listen to something, but I don't think I can quite do that right now. It's so boring doing this when you don't hear a thing. I don't know why I'm not allowed to listen to what I already recorded. It's annoying. Oh, hi, Mr. Banker. I got money. You want my money? I know you want my money. I'm gonna give you all of it. I bet you're happy. Happier than me. Now it's time to go to Snowhead because I need to do stuff. Just get through the dungeon, and then, well, gotta work more from there. I can't wait to get to the dungeon. I don't know what to say. Post-commentary is just so darn annoying. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what to say ever at all. I just wing it and hope something comes into my mind, but nothing's coming into my mind this time because I already talked throughout these videos before when I thought the mic was cooperating. I don't know why it glitched out. By the way, yeah, there is an invisible Goron here. And then I played Goron's Lullaby wrong like an idiot. I don't know why I just didn't look at the notes. I kept telling myself I was playing it right. I wasn't. But I learned that I was wrong. I guess I was playing my funny bone. I was just playing Saria song. Okay. I forgot what I was saying now. Darn it. Stupid Goron's Lullaby and Funny Bone. Look what you've done to me. I'm mad now. I would never forgive you. Because funny bone is always the cause of pain. Rockabye Goron, who just fell down. And now we gotta make our way there. Just don't... Alright, I forgot about the ferry. I got this anyway, even though I knew I wouldn't need it. Because for heaven's sakes, 9 hearts is far more than you need at this point in the game. The most you really need by this point is 6 at most. But again, I want to try and spread things out because there is a lot of stuff to do in this game. And the side quest content is just going to start getting heavier now out of the first half of the game after this. The first half of the game is kind of light on the heavy side quest material, but later on it gets a lot bigger, a lot longer, and a heck of a lot darker too. Very dark. This one side quest in particular that everyone knows and is kind of heartbreaking given the context. Anyways, here it is finally, at last, the second dungeon in the game, known as Snowhead Temple. Because it's at Snowhead. So this may only be the second dungeon in the game, but it instantly does get a lot tougher than the first dungeons. Given how there's only 4 dungeons in the game, each dungeon kind of gets exponentially tougher. Now it starts off kind of linear at first, but it can get a little confusing if you're not paying much attention. There is more backtracking to do in this dungeon, some of which can get kind of serious, especially if you start going for the stray fairies, and this is when collecting all of them starts to become a bit of a tougher issue, as you will have to go back and forth numerous times. Anyways, there is a stray fairy over there, but you can't get it from this side because there are actually invisible walls there that will only reveal themselves with the lens of truth. So you gotta keep mind of that. The lens of truth is going to start to become a little more useful here. However, what I didn't realize was there was actually a second stray fairy down here. I missed it because of course I did. I didn't look around because I thought, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. Anyways, just pop the bubble and the stray fairy's yours. This is one of the reasons why I went to get arrows and such so early on. Because I figured I was going to have to use them right away, and I'm sick of always forgetting to do it. This time, I didn't forget to do it, so I can be a happy camper. And yeah, there's people now. Hooray. Usually I like to do this when I know everything's gonna be quiet. I guess it didn't work out this time. Anyways, this ramp could be a little tricky the first time because it's actually kind of hard to keep things straight sometimes due to the more limited control of the camera. The most annoying thing that could happen is you fall. I did it, and look, there's the second stray fairy. That kind of annoyed me, but thankfully hitting it was manageable from this angle. Excuse me. But sometimes hitting stuff can be a little tougher than they look. Now before going up to that door, first I realized I can't actually do what I want to do here. Killing all the freeze arts in this room makes a chest appear. But due to the ice that I can't melt, I have to leave it alone. So I just go up the stairs, which is where the map is. Also, I mentioned around this point that all of the dungeon items in this game, they're just various forms of arrows and nothing unique. So I think it's kind of obvious to tell that the fire arrows are in this dungeon. Especially because we see ice that we can't melt. It's to be expected. Anyways, here's a lot of nice money, which I want, because I want to fill up my bank as soon as possible to get the rewards, which I'm still a long way going through. Anyways, here's the map. As usual, I look at the map and it's definitely bigger with 5 floors. Some of the floors are kind of small, but it's the navigation here that matters. Especially because there's a lot of backtracking around the circular shape. Here's where I realize that, well, I need fire arrows again. Hooray. But I don't have them yet. It comes from the first mini-boss. I think it's to be expected it would have came from the mini-boss, but whatever. So this is when I start going into the middle of the room where the central mechanic starts to get introduced. Starts to, but not quite yet. See that pillar? That's what's involved. This central part of the dungeon. You will be going through this room numerous times, and we will have to deal with this pillar later on in the dungeon about halfway through. And you want to be careful how you deal with it because you don't want to miss something which can make the dungeon a little more frustrating than it has to be. Here we get a little block puzzle, and yes, it's silly how we can pull blocks like these without any handles, but we shouldn't really question it. It's a video game. And we want to push these blocks into a certain section to make a certain jump. It also makes a treasure chest appear, so it's very important to do this. Now I couldn't see from this angle, but I actually could have pushed these blocks farther, and I was like, oh, wait, over there. I don't remember everything, but hey, that was a simple mistake. From a visual standpoint, it's understandable. I should hope so. Oh, excuse me. Anyways, in here is a key. And for a minute or two, I kind of forgot where that door was, so I ended up going over to various areas that I didn't have to go to, such as down there. Although I am at least smart enough to actually melt down this ice, torch with arrows still creates a type of alternative fire arrow until we can get the official ones. But here, I actually get a little lost for a bit, because, again, I haven't played through this game full in quite some time now. I forgot how long, maybe it's been 2 to 3 years since I last played through this game, so I forgot a little bit. I expected to. I forgot to do a test run on this game, but at the very least, I did find a giant switch. Okay, what did this do again? Oh, it created a chest, and this one had a stray fairy. And yeah, I turned into a Goron walking into the lava because it kind of acts like the fire tunic in Ocarina of Time, whereas when you're as a Goron, you don't take so much damage in the lava. If you go in as regular Link, well, that's it. It's gonna hurt a bit. And if you place Deku Link, you just burn up entirely, and you have to start back from where you last came from. Fun! It's not. It was in here I realized I can't do anything, so I never end up coming back down here again. That's for later on in the dungeon if you mess up some platforming and you need a quick way to get back up. Which becomes a bit important once that central pillar's raised and oh, I'm an idiot. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I forgot that I did such a horrid thing like that. Oh, I'm an idiot. I think this is the point where I start to remember that, yeah, I look at the map. There was one room I haven't been into yet. Took a bit of time for me to realize, but I did find out. The map is definitely a great friend of yours when you're inside the dungeon, and the compass helps out even more, because then you can see where you actually are in the room. That is one obnoxious thing with the dungeons in the N64 games. You don't have a compass, you're not seeing where you're going. In the later games, you're able to see the little arrows to show where you are and where you came from, which I find very useful. And yeah, waffles on ice. On ice, they're actually a little more threatening, but they've always been easy. And in here is the compass. Oh, I must apologize on my coughing. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with it. And here's where I decided to count the chests. There were 10 of them left? 10 of them left. And that surprised me that there were so many more chests left. I didn't think there would be. But since this is Majora's Mask, a number of those random chests are actually quite useful, because instead of pointless rupees that add up to almost nothing, you get stray fairies. Which, definitely, stray fairies are better than getting a blue rupee or even a red rupee. Especially because the rewards are worth it. With the exception of maybe the last one, but the others you definitely want to go for. They will make the game much easier if you do so. Although the next dungeon you might not want to because of the kind of dungeon it is. Over here is a simple little puzzle where you just gotta get rid of the ice by shooting stalactites. Like what we had to do to even get into Snowhead in the first place from Termina Field. Using an arrow to destroy a stalactite. I let that one hit me. I wanted to give it a chance. It had to feel good about itself. After all, it was about to die. I was giving it mercy. But the other ones, I need to deal with them on my own. That giant snowball sure looks suspicious. Hardy har har. Oh, wait, let's take a look at the map. You see that chest that's not within the room? That is oddly suspicious, isn't it? And there is plenty of reason to be suspicious about it, which, after I'm done messing around with these, I'm not done messing around with these. Perfect. We see that, well, that snow from the wall makes it a bit noticeable, but there's a secret passage here, which this gives us an Earthstray Fairy. Also, notice the amount of arrows I had. If I didn't buy that set of 3 arrows, I'd only have 7 right now, and that wouldn't exactly be a good amount to have. And here, I was hoping I wouldn't screw up the jump. I didn't. Thank goodness for that. And, giant snowball. Let's punch it! And look, it's an important chest, which means it has an important item key. And that's when I realized how much larger Goron Link is than Human Link. I've never noticed the difference before that. I didn't realize Goron Link was suddenly like 4 feet taller or something. Must be 9 feet. And in here's a stray fairy, and I wanted to make sure there wasn't any in here left. This stray fairy, I feel like, is a bit of a cruel one to find. You're definitely going to want to use the lens of truth here, because there is one right up there. That one took me a while to find when I started to get dedicated to finding these stray fairies. The first time I played this game, it was too much, so I didn't bother with it. But in return, I did end up making the game that much tougher, especially because I didn't get that many heart pieces either. I think I was only up to 7 hearts or so by the time I was doing the 3rd dungeon. And with that dungeon's boss, I was making a serious mistake. Oh man. 3rd dungeon can give some pretty bad memories. To a lot of people for obvious reasons. I'm not going to get into them because I'm not at the dungeon yet. So I should be focused on Snowhead. Anyways, this room actually uses a bit of a unique switch puzzle. The yellow switches, they stay up until you hit them, but the green one is under a time limit. So what you have to do is you've got to quickly readjust the yellow switches to get back up before the green switch drops. Otherwise, you've got to start over. I think it's kind of a unique puzzle. I like it. It's different. It's not the standard blue switch puzzles or anything like that. It requires a different thought process. Anyways, here we are back in the central room where it's important that you don't fall as you go to roll over this ramp. You are always going to need magic in this dungeon, whether it's rolling or the fire arrows that are picked up later. And that part is scary. Anyways, in here is back where we were before, just higher up. I leave this place later because there's no purpose of going through there right now. So instead, time to go into the room right across. Which, if you can't tell, since there's no other way to go, yes, this is indeed the mini-boss chamber, with a very reoccurring mini-boss in this game. The Wizrobe, who's been upgraded from enemy to mini-boss. He's much easier than Link to the Past, but how does he compare to the original game's Wizrobe? Well, the Wizrobe will teleport to one of the various tiles, dance a little while before he tries to send an ice blast at you. If you can hit him quick enough, it will cancel his attack. but you gotta wait till he's fully formed or he'll go somewhere else. You can either use the arrows for safety, or if you feel confident, you can use a jump attack. After dealing enough damage, he will initiate a second phase. It will create clones that can appear at every tile, and it's up to you to find where the real one is. The clones will run about to make this a little tougher. However, if you got the compass reveals exactly where the real one is, indicated by a red dot, making this part of the fight incredibly easy. Making it a very easy mini-boss. You're the one that cursed my mic, didn't you? That's what you get. For making me do all this, you die. But he'll be back. Because he's actually the second mini-boss of this dungeon. Whoop-de-doo! Anyways, in here I get the fire arrows, which, yeah, it melts things. That's what it does. Although it is more useful in this than it was in Ocarina of Time, like pretty much all the arrow variations in this game. But that's all. In the next video, I go through the next half of the dungeon. I tell them this